In the past and traditionally, I honestly haven't been the biggest fan of the lightweight or 150 RPM hand cannons. For whatever reason, they just have never really clicked with me. The only ones I did like using or have enjoyed using are the exotic ones, so things like Thorn has always felt pretty good to me. With the hand cannon changes to recoil and the recoil being so much more bearable on controller, as well as the nerfs to hand cannon range, I've got to admit that I think that the 150 RPM hand cannons are very valuable right now. The faster rate of fire of a 150 RPM hand cannon while maintaining generally pretty decent output and the ability to 3-tap is incredibly useful because it does allow you to get a very fast time to kill if you do happen to hit your 3 headshots at max rate of fire, so that will give you a faster time to kill. And of course, I think flinch is a big factor in this game, so being able to land shots faster and more repeatedly than your opponent does and will probably throw them off a little bit more. And if you're not hitting 3 headshots, you're still going to be landing fast repeated at least body shots on them, which again will most likely mess them up and put a little bit more pressure on them. Not only that, the faster rate of fire, as much as again it might seem like a small difference, does end up making a difference because you have faster overall follow-up shots. If I miss a shot, I'm going to be able to shoot faster for my next shot, which means it's more forgiving. There's less of a penalty time for me missing a shot. So if we both happen to miss a shot, I'm going to be able to get that follow-up quicker than you might with a slower RPM weapon. The adaptive hand cannons, the 140s, do have the best range overall, and I think that's how they've separated themselves from the 150s a little better, even than some past Crucible sandbox iterations. But after using adaptive hand cannons for a pretty long while, simply because I think they felt the best and they felt the most manageable, at least on controller, I've been really trying to find a legendary 150 RPM hand cannon that I enjoy using. And honestly, this started with an exotic. I was using the Blasphemer and I was pairing it with Sunshot, and Sunshot just wasn't cutting it. Even though statistically it looks like a fantastic hand cannon, and on paper you'd think it's really, really good, which I still think it is, I was trying to find a 150 RPM hand cannon to pair with Blasphemer, preferably after using Sunshot, a legendary one. So after a long day of streaming and using different 150 RPM hand cannons, including Sunshot, including Rose, spare rations, in both the kinetic and energy slot, someone suggested I try the Jack Queen King 3, and I had completely forgotten about this hand cannon. In fact, I hadn't even used it since the recoil changes. Needless to say, I instantly fell in love with how this hand cannon felt and thought it was incredibly consistent, and I'm very addicted to using this as it's now my main hand cannon. So to quickly go over the stats of it, it has 50 range, 60 stability, and that's with a +5 stability masterwork, 86 handling, 63 reload, 91 aim assist, even though for some reason on dim it shows 96 aim assist, on light GG it says 91. I'm not sure which of these is right, but you get the idea. That's a lot of aim assist. And then 100 recoil direction to finish our stats off with, I believe, a 13 bullet magazine. So why this hand cannon? Why this one? Why a year 1 hand cannon over the year 2 options that we had that can get mods like Icarus Grip, that can get random rolls? Why have I landed on using this weapon? So there are 2 issues that I've had with hand cannons for a long time when I'm using them on controller, at least. The first one is flinch. Of course, flinch feels like absolute crap, and I very much dislike it. I don't really know how to play around it a lot of the time when someone's putting pressure on me and putting shots on me. It just feels really, really bad to me. Secondly, and more importantly, every 150 RPM hand cannon that I've used, with the exception of the exotic ones, have a very sharp view kick or screen kick to them that feels, again, very sharp, very sudden, and almost jarring to a degree. And there's a weird kind of bounce to the weapon's model and the sights of other hand cannons. I noticed this on things like spare rations very, very much. I don't know if this is an issue to other people as much as it seems like it is to me, and it kind of bothers me. But I noticed that when I'm using something like the spare rations and I'm firing near max rate of fire or at max rate of fire, the sights don't really fully come to a resting position. Of course, since the hand cannon recoil animation changed, this has been much better, but there's still a weird kind of dip and bounce kind of look or animation to it that I very much dislike and throws me off. It feels like it's kind of just floating and hovering in a recoiled state, and I don't like that. Again, that's on top of a sharp feeling view kick that I dislike, and even on some hand cannons where they lack stability almost feels like it has a degree of horizontal recoil to that sharp view kick. So again, I very much dislike it. It's a lot of the reason why I haven't used 150 hand cannons, why they haven't really molded with my muscle memory, and why I've kind of disliked them. However, since the hand cannon range changes, this has made the range stat far less important, so it allows me, and this is actually something I really like about the changes, this allows me to explore other hand cannon options despite them not having the absolute best range or the quintessential range perks you'd be looking for. So Jack, Queen, King, even though it only has 50 range, you actually still get a very comparable 3-tap distance from it, and investing into its stability stat, of course year 1 weapons and hand cannons only being able to get a stability masterwork and not a range masterwork, this is actually helpful on the weapon and makes it feel more consistent. And honestly, I might farm for something like a Waking Vigil with a good stability stat and a comparable range stat and see if that feels any similar to this, but I'm not quite there yet. Jack, Queen, King, in comparison to all these other hand cannon recoils, feels like it has a very smooth recoil pattern that is reminiscent of the exotic hand cannons. I don't think the exotic hand cannons have at all this very sharp feeling view kick. They're very smooth and consistent for the most part, and I think that's what makes them feel so good as exotics in my opinion or my experience. I feel like Jack, Queen, King possesses these similar traits and characteristics where it has a very smooth feeling recoil that's mainly entirely vertical with its 100 recoil direction stat. And to add on to this, what really makes it great is it has an absurdly high aim assist stat. If dim is somehow right instead of light GG, this would make it the highest aim assist hand cannon in the game, considering it doesn't have a targeting adjuster mod that you can put on it, even higher than the 92 aim assist of the spare rations. But even if it's not, at 91 aim assist like light GG says, that's insanely high. You put that and use that with the enhanced hand cannon targeting, and well, you got yourself a max aim assist hand cannon. And to me, it definitely makes a difference. It's noticeable how insane the aim assist is on this weapon. It honestly feels like cheating at some points, and this ties into my point about flinch, because due to the aim assist being so high, I feel like I can just repeatedly flick with this weapon even while getting flinched, and my bullets are still landing. Again, no matter how hard for the most part I'm getting flinched, it seems like bullets still find their way on target with just basic flicking through the flinch and in a gunfight, which makes this feel really consistent. I think part of the thing that people actually might not like about this weapon is why I like it so much. It's because the model of the weapon isn't bouncing and doing that kind of dip and bounce kind of look or floatiness that I feel on other hand cannon models, and instead it's a bigger model, so it's a little chunkier and it's not doing that same kind of thing. It feels like it's being centered a little bit more. I think this might just be my perception or maybe placebo, honestly, compared to other hand cannon recoils, but to me it feels a lot less bouncier and a lot smoother, vertical, and consistent. You might ask, well, why wouldn't you just use Not Forgotten? Because you're on controller. Not Forgotten's really good. I think it's a really good weapon. I think Not Forgotten's top tier, but honestly, I've been feeling really good with Jack, Queen, King simply because with Not Forgotten and the nature of its recoil, you can be thrown off by flinch by a small margin and have to make very small adjustments, it feels like, to get back on target, and I don't think the weapon deals with flinch very well as a result of that, especially since it does have a lower aim assist stat. But Jack, Queen, King, it feels like, again, you can just keep flicking, and the high aim assist pretty much ensures that if you are somewhat on target, even if you're getting flinched, you are going to have your shots landing on the target, which is incredibly good. It also allows you to make bigger movements because of the recoil to get back on target, which I think is a little bit more forgiving, actually. Funny enough, I talked this hand cannon up in year 1 a lot. In my initial review of it, I said it was incredible, the stats were incredible. This weapon, as well as many prophecy weapons in Curse of Osiris, were, I think, much ahead of their time. This one even had ricochet rounds, and that was for a while before the ricochet rounds nerf. So this thing was insane, and honestly, it feels like it still holds up now. So if you've been struggling to find a good 150 RPM hand cannon, as I have, I recommend trying this. Or if you just want to use something different, try something else that might feel surprisingly good, give it a shot. Of course, this is just all personal opinion. This is very subjective. Factually, if you were to tell me spare rations is better, Honestly, on paper, I'd say you're probably right, but this one for some reason feels really damn good to me. This is the hand cannon I've been looking for, so hopefully it might be that for you too. As always, everyone, thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you'd like to see more content like this, you can check me out on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Drewskys. And just for a small little plug, if you are interested in trying, or if you do enjoy G Fuel products, I actually do have a code. You can use code Drewsky at checkout, so you can get 10% off of your order, and of course it does support me as a content creator for no cost. Thank you so much again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.